Hello, welcome to day 12. Part of me can't believe I'm here, and part of me is, well, yeah, finally. It is still funny how it seems like it's gone by so fast. So, the last day, how am I feeling, was eventful, as I mentioned yesterday. Started the day off yesterday completely hollow and just worthless. Got the extra salt in me and immediately started feeling better, and that continued through the rest of the day, getting a little progressively better. Right before bed, I took a full teaspoon of salt and in a couple of pints of water and went to bed at about 10 o'clock, which I'm recommitting to doing consistently to get those really high quality first hours in the morning. So how did I sleep? According to my sleep tracker, awesome. It was a little bit off in that I was still waking up every couple of hours. I just can't find a comfortable position as easily as I can when I'm not fasted. But my sleep tracker said that I slept for a solid 7.5 hours. Quality was about 6 hours of that. And the best part was my deep sleep, where my heart rate really drops and I'm absolutely still. The closest to REM that the thing can measure was 3.5 hours. I've been using that tracker for 6-7 months, and that's where money is. So when my deep sleep's high, that's when I feel the best. And when despite quality and total hours in bed, when my deep sleep is low, that's when I tend to drag during the day. So it was great to see 3.5 hours, which is way above average and just awesome. And all the good sleep came after 2 in the morning. Up until then, it was just barely on the edge. So maybe that means that that's my body's clock resetting to going to bed at 10 o'clock. And I think it has a lot to do with that salt integrating and doing its thing, allowing me to sleep and recharge. Either way, super grateful. Woke up this morning, jumped right out of bed, did not feel any lightheadedness, much less crash into the shelves like I did yesterday. Energy levels are probably around 50% of normal, but mental acuity is definitely higher. I'd say it's 120% compared to what it was when I'm not fasting. So that's nice, and that's what I have on my plate today, so I can remain very productive at writing and such. HRV has improved from the teens and 20s up into the 50s and 60s in the last 24 hours, so that's encouraging. My body's not stressing so hard to keep the blood flow up, and it's all good. So the salt, electrolyte balance, sleep, these are critical in really giving myself what I need to thrive in this fast. Just a little quick side note to follow up on how salt does not cause dehydration. That's important when you're fasting, because if your body is not feeling thirsty, that doesn't necessarily mean what you might think it means. It is often a sign that you are salt deficient. Whereas if you are thirsty, you're only going to get that impulse if you have at least sufficient levels of salt. And I've definitely noticed that return as my salt levels are going back up. That natural thirst is returning. And when I was salt deficient, I drank because I should, based on like urine color and such, but I never felt thirsty. So just something to keep in mind to ensure that hydration and electrolyte balances are kept in check. Last thing for today, and definitely I believe the most important, has to do with sustainability and making this fast work long term. And by long term, I mean after we break it, not just finishing it, but seeing it through to the end. I addressed yesterday how I'm still not fully committed, and there's still so many voices in my head saying that this is a total bummer. I don't like this. And why would I want to do this? And this is uncomfortable, and everybody's eating and enjoying but me. One thing I did notice from thinking about it in the last day was that I'm exposing myself to the lack of food, not just once a day, but 2-3 times a day. Every time, our family usually eats 2 meals a day, but I'm joining them and I'm watching them, and it's that constant bombardment of reminding myself what I'm missing. And I am missing it. That's real, and it's a choice. But learning to sit at table and prep food and such and remind myself and focus and be mindful of all the wonderful things that are there, the camaraderie and the friendship and the love, and literally force myself to recognize those and enjoy them and give myself permission to just let it in and separate that from the actual ingestion of food, creating those new mental pathways. That's important, to recognize that what the battle that I'm actually fighting is, it's a big one. I'm constantly exposed to it. I do not feel any natural hunger at all. I still feel like the idea of putting food in my body is just, like, it wouldn't fit. It's hard to describe, but like my body doesn't want it in there. But nonetheless, that's important. So I journaled out my feelings on it again today, thoroughly. And then I went into the kitchen and I just sat there on the counter and talked it all over with my wife. Told her how, despite knowing all the awesome benefits and all the reasons that I should see this through, such a large part of me just doesn't like it and doesn't want to continue. It's no fun. So just talking it out with her, did I discover anything particularly new? Not really. But writing it out and especially talking it over with somebody that I trust and I know will give me solid, honest, reliable feedback, that made a difference. Am I all the way there yet? No. But is it a perceptible difference in how committed and comfortable I feel with the decision? How well settled in I am in my soul with it? Yeah, it definitely made a difference. And I'm going to keep working on that and focusing on all the great reasons, the cardiac, the brain health, the overall weight, the temporal blessings that this brings by making me more capable. All these awesome things that happen. This is worth it in every possible way. And recognizing at the end of the day that the benefit, the tremendous benefit of doing this fast is so huge in comparison to the very small price that I'm paying, which is short-term discomfort. It's still a substantial price. It's hard, but it's worth it. And as you can tell by my face and my body, I'm doing just fine. My health is not compromised in any way, and in many ways it's better. And even if I were to break the fast today, I would have gained so much. But if I see it all the way through to the end, I'm not leaving anything on the table, and there's a lot left on the table. So those are my thoughts for today. I'm going to go shower and had a couple of meetings, and I'm done with journaling and video and stuff before noon, which is, I think, a record since I started the fast. Working to get myself back up to a high level of productivity. Appreciate your time and good luck.